everyone, to a special Wednesday edition of Zoom and Learn with us here at Celebration Magazine. I am Zoe, your hostess with the mostest, and we had 48 people register for this event today, which is fantastic. Now, this is a unique event because we have two speakers, Lori Williams, Senior Services, and our friends at Ebby Halliday Realty. And the reason why they partnered together is because their services often go very hand in hand. So what we are talking about today is it time to move? And now what? So they are going to help us out with that. So we're going to start with Lori Williams, and Lori is going to tell us about how to identify if it is a time to move.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Williams. I'm going to share my screen with y'all so you can see my presentation we have here. Okay, so we're going to talk about, is it time to move to senior living? And first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So I've worked in senior living for over 13 years. I'm a certified dementia practitioner, and I own my own business. It's Lori Williams Senior Services, and I help people find senior housing options. It's a completely free service. We've been in business for 2.5 years, and we're voted best senior services in Denton County for 2019 and 2020. And I am the host of a podcast called Aging in Style with Lori Williams, where I just cover everything senior related. And we try to keep it really fun and encouraging about seniors living their best lives. And just, I'm very passionate about helping seniors. So that's why I do this. I love what I do. So when I thought about this topic, I was like, okay, so how do you know you're ready to consider moving to senior housing? And I came up with, you might be ready if, which reminded me of, do you remember Jeff Foxworthy, who would always do the thing, you might be a redneck if? So that just stuck in my head.
I love it.
every time I thought it. So here's some signs that you might be ready to consider senior living. So if you're tired of maintenance and repairs on your house, like leaks, hot water heaters bursting, storm damage, our hailstorms, messing up our roofs, appliance replacement and air conditioning repairs, all those things add up and it's stressful to deal with. And in the past 6 months, I've actually had a hot water heater burst, had my oven get struck by lightning, and my air conditioner needs to be replaced. And I had a rat in my wall. So, I mean, I've had some fun times the last 6 months. So it happens like that. So if you're tired of these things happening and the maintenance repairs, it might be time to start thinking about senior living. Also, if you are tired of mowing the grass in the Texas heat, if you're looking like this, and that's not my husband, but if he was out mowing the lawn in the heat, he might look like this. It might be time to consider moving. You might be ready for senior living if you're tired of mopping, cleaning windows, blinds, baseboards, all that stuff. I know I'm personally kind of tired of that. Or you might be ready if your house is needing some expensive modifications. So if as we're getting older, if there are some things you need to do to your house, like if you just have a bathtub and you need a walk-in shower or handicapped accessible. So all these things can be added to your home, but they can become quite expensive to have done. But you might be ready if you're feeling lonely. And I know with COVID, a lot of people are feeling very lonely and socially isolated. So, so that becomes really important if you find that you're depressed and lonely, that it might be time to consider moving to a community where you could meet other people and have that social interaction. You might be ready if you're just looking for a group of friends that you want to socialize with. And that's really the beauty of senior living, that you can have like a group that you do activities with, that you have meals with, that become your friends. So if you're looking for that group of people, it may be time to consider senior living. And you might be ready for senior living if you're having health issues. So, I mean, it could be just minor health issues, or there could be some other things. There could be maybe a diagnosis of a Parkinson's or dementia or something. It might be time to consider senior living for those reasons. And maybe you're ready. Maybe something struck a chord and you're like this happy little lady and you're just like, yes, I'm ready. I want to learn more about senior living. So when we talk about senior living, there's all different types. So there's something for everyone. So we start off really with the 55 plus senior apartments. And that's very appealing for people who are wanting just that maintenance free lifestyle. So like we talked about, maybe you're tired of maintenance on your house, you're tired of cleaning and all of that stuff, and you just want to downsize. Maybe your space is just too big for you now. So looking at a 55 plus apartment would provide you with maintenance free living. They typically don't have meals, but they do have lots of activities. There's security. You can feel safe there. A lot of them even have, security systems where you can't even access an elevator without a card to get in. So that might be an option for you. And it's just, you're very independent. It's just that you have a apartment, but it's 55 plus. So it's a senior apartment. If you answer questions that maybe you're tired of cooking, you're tired of, all of that kind of stuff, cooking and cleaning and doing, yard maintenance, and you want to socialize and have all your meals provided, you might want to consider independent living. That might be right for you. And independent livings, there's some that are all inclusive. So everything is just one payment and you get all your meals, you get transportation, you have all kinds of people to socialize with and do activities. They even have exercise rooms and classes and all kinds of things. When we were talking earlier about what you might be ready if there are some health issues that are happening and you need a caregiver, assisted living might be the right choice then. And with assisted living, you're going to have all your meals, your utilities, your housekeeping, everything done. And then they can do assistance with any personal care. So if you did, for example, need help with getting around with mobility and maybe with bathing, dressing, anything like that, that's where our assisted living comes into play. And they also take care of that socialization piece so that we address loneliness and transportation as well. And if memory care, if there is some dementia, we can always look at memory care. So there's options for everyone, for all different, wherever you are in senior living, there are options. So really your next steps would be you decide on the type of community. So if you've said, okay, yes, I think I am ready for senior living, you decide on the type of community that is right for you. What is going to fit your needs? What's going to fit, where you are in your life? And then you select communities to go visit and decide on your favorite. And that's where I can help you. So I can help you with guiding you through senior housing, helping you determine what is the right fit, if it's 55 plus or if it's independent living or assisted living, and then identify, working with you, what's going to fit with your budget and what part of town you want to live in, and just what is going to be a community that feels like the right fit for you. And that is a completely free service. So if you find yourself thinking, yeah, you know what, I think I am ready for this, or I want to learn more, please reach out to me and I'm happy to help you with that. And then your next step would be to talk with Ebby Halliday and find out, what about selling your house and those steps involved in downsizing. Oops. Okay, that's what I have. I can't hear you,
Hi.
There you are.
There I am. I have been having such issues today with unmuting and muting myself. It isn't even funny. I'm just telling you, that was fantastic. And I think I need to move to retirement community already because I don't want to deal with most of that stuff. So goodness gracious. It's great option. And I like that, for everyone in here, Lori pointed out the difference between, the 55 plus apartments versus a independent living community. There are all different types of options as far as what you want. And that's really what Lori's going to help you find and identify. I did notice at the bottom that your website was cut off. So I did put that into the chat here for everyone. So that way, if they have any other questions about Lori, they can go to her website. Now, I do have a question that popped up.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask the question. I know the answer, but you can answer it, Lori, because this is all for you. Do you know of locations that can customize and address specific dietary needs in assisted living?
Yes, there are some that can help with that. Sure.
Yeah, so
There's
they
I
are
mean, pretty much, yeah, there's so many different things people try to, fit everyone. So yeah.
right, right. And then so this question I think would be, so the question is what's the price range? So do you have like a ballpark price range of what you'd be looking at in our area?
So it's going to be different. It's going to depend on the type of senior living. So with like senior apartments, there are some that are income based that you can qualify for. But then I would say just a standard, like a senior apartment, you're really in this area, could go anywhere from about 1,100 a month all the way up to, 25, 2,600. If we're looking at like the all-inclusive type of independent living with the meals and utilities and everything combined, probably the best price I have right now starts about 1,700 a month. And then again, those can go all the way up to 4,000 a month. It just depends on, there's so many options out there.
Right.
And then when we look at assisted living, it's a little different. We have a base rate on the apartment, and then they do an assessment to figure your level of care out. So that would start probably the lowest on a base rate, about 2,600. They can go up to 6,000. I mean, it's just such a huge range. And then your level of care on top of that just would depend on what the nurse comes up with.
Yeah,
so I hope that helps kind of give you a ballpark.
Most certainly. And then the one thing too that I wanted to add to that is, as Lori did mention, the income-based properties is generally they have a waiting list. So if you feel that you are if you're looking at a company or a community that does have those income options, you need to get on there as soon as you can, even if you're not ready to move, because by the time your name comes up, you might be ready to move. So there usually is a waiting period with those communities. So
that's a good point. And most of them are about 6 months to 1 year. So definitely if you're thinking you want to do that, get on the list. Even if they call you and you're not quite ready, you can always say, I just want to stay on the list a little longer.
Yeah, most certainly. All right. If any other questions come up, you can do those at the end, and we can always bring Lori back in if there's anything specific to the options for senior care. Do want to reiterate and stress that her services are 100% free, and she's got a huge database of information. So she's really able to, even if you're going, well, maybe she can help you with your resources and what, help point you in the right direction. My experience, if you're thinking maybe though, normally that's a pretty good indication that you're real close. So, all right. Well, thank you, Lori, so much for sharing that with us. I am going to introduce to you our next two speakers. So they are a dynamic duo, a team, and this is Brendan Duffy. And then with us, we also have Brenda Kinsey, and they, like I said, are with Ebby, and they're going to help you with the now what aspect of things. So take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Lori, excellent presentation. I can't speak high enough about when I've had clients or met seniors that have been working with someone like Lori. how much less stress that they are having to go through because they're trusting an expert. So very good presentation. Let me share my screen. Okay, can everybody see that okay?
It's not showing up again, Brenda.
Let's try that.
There we go. Now it's starting.
All right. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay. So as I said, my name is Brenda Kinsey. My business partner is Brendan, and we have been business partners for close to, I think, 7 or 8 years. I've been licensed in real estate since 2003, and I'll let Brendan tell you a little bit about himself. About 3 years ago, after doing real estate for many years, I started volunteering at a memory care community, and I just fell in love with the industry. And so I asked Brendan if he wouldn't mind taking over the business for a year and allow me to follow that passion. So for a couple years, I worked within the senior living industry while he handled our real estate. And it really gave us a good insight on how we can even better serve our clients. So I'm back in real estate. We still consult with some senior living communities, but we're back to selling real estate. And Brendan, I'll go ahead and let you tell a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Brenda. Once again, I'm Brendan Duffy. And first, I'd like to thank Celebration Magazine for having us out. And Lori, great presentation. I've been in the business now, probably 25 years experience. I am a certified residential appraiser, and I did that for about 20 years, started my own company, did that for a while. And it just became more of being able to help people. And the faster way I could help people was to be on the real estate sales side of it. So that's why I ended up getting my real estate license. I knew Brenda, her kids and my kids were friends. And we used to just talk shop, and one thing led to another, and we became business partners.
Very good. So, and as you see on the screen, both Brendan and I do have our senior real estate specialist designation, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we go throughout the presentation. And Brendan, throughout, if you want to interrupt me, please do. If I miss something, I might ask if I have missed something, and please feel free to jump in.
Will do.
All right. Okay, so, what's next? If you decide to move after you've talked to Lori and you decide, okay, I think senior living is where I need to be. I highly, highly recommend that you start selecting a realtor sooner than later. And the reason why is they can really help you navigate through this. They have connections with contractors. So how do you find a realtor? Well, I recommend starting with your neighbors, CPA, family, friends. You can ask somebody like Lori. They obviously are in the industry, and they know agents that specialize with seniors, and that's a great tool. So what I would do is I would recommend getting as many referrals as possible, but don't stop there. Don't stop there. It's really important that you do more research and you ask your own questions, because an agent who may have done a great job for your neighbor you may not feel comfortable with. So we highly recommend that you collect those recommendations and then you do your interviewing. It's very, very important to find a very experienced agent. All agents are not created equal. You can be a part-time agent, you can be new in the industry, you could specialize in new builds and really have no idea what it's like to transition from a house to senior living. So it's really important to do your research. And where I would start, like I said, is once you get your referrals, select 2 or 3 realtors and interview them. Ask a lot of questions. Here are some of the questions that I would ask. How long have you been in real estate? Because experience does matter. Just like a doctor, you really don't want to go in and have surgery with somebody who just got their license last week. So I think it's really important to look at experience. Another thing is somebody can be a real estate agent for 30 years, but not be full-time. And so I would also ask, how many transactions on average do you do each year? I looked up the statistic yesterday because in the past I heard it was anywhere from 4 to 5. Well, that's actually increased, and now the national average for a real estate agent is 12 transactions per year. So I would definitely find somebody who does 12 or more a year and has been doing it for a minimum of 3 to 5 years. Another question that you can ask is, what designations and certifications do you hold? There are so many. You might see a realtor that has 15 designations after their name, but it's really about what's important to you. And as I mentioned, the senior real estate specialist designation is really important because during their training, you learn about senior living options. You learn about folks like Lori. You're just able to, and you also can talk about if somebody wants to age in place. Maybe now isn't the time to transition. So senior real estate specialists really want to be your source for information. I'm sure you guys see there are some really big real estate teams out there. There's teams that have 10, 15, 20 people on them. They sell, $100 million of real estate, and that's great. Their names are very familiar. Their faces are all over magazines. But what you want to ask if you're going to look at those teams is, who am I going to be specifically working with? Am I going to be working with the team leader, or am I going to be working with somebody who just started and I'm handing that business off? So that's a very, very important question to ask. Then there's always questions about asking specific market questions. What is the average sales price of homes in my neighborhood? How long will it take to sell? One thing I would do is I would put up a kind of a small red flag if somebody on your first interview just spouts out an average price for your neighborhood, because that means they did the research prior to walking into your home. That means they haven't discussed with you your timing, whether you have 3 months to sell or whether you want to move in the next 3 to 4 weeks. What Brendan and I do is, before we give a price, we like to sit down. We'll have an idea what the neighborhood supports, but we'd like to sit down and visit with our clients, talk about, look at the condition of their home. Will there need to be repairs made? Do they have 3 months to sell, or are they really needing to get, let's say, into memory care right away? So those are important questions to ask. A few more questions, ask, what do you think repairs I would need to make to get the most amount for my home? What commissions do they charge? 6% is the normal percentage in Texas, in North Texas. And of course, you hear the ads of the discount brokers. They'll sell your house for 1%. Those can be very misleading. So just ask really good questions. And remember, cheaper is not always better. You're hiring somebody to negotiate on your behalf. And if they're so quick to negotiate on their income and their commission, how hard are they going to work for your bottom dollar? What marketing can you do? And then another one, I would always insist, and I would ask, how will photography be handled? We still see pictures on MLS that an agent just goes in there and takes with their iPhone, and it looks horrendous. And when you're hiring a professional, it's really, really important that they portray your house in the most professional manner, because people are picking homes off the internet based on the quality of the photography. If an agent tells you, oh, this market's so hot, don't worry about it, we'll just put a sign in the yard, take an outside picture, and it'll sell. Well, it might sell quickly, but you possibly could have gotten a lot more money for your house. And again, the final question is staging right for your house? And that's something that is looked at independent, each individual house. So just trust your intuition, choose the agent with experience and that you feel will work hard and put your interests first. So another point that I'd like to ask, and an experienced and successful realtor will not just answer your questions, they're going to ask you a lot of questions, and they're going to listen intently to what you're saying. If a realtor doesn't take the time to understand your goals, I'd move on to the next one, because that is a very clear sign that they're not looking out for your interest, because how can they when they don't know what they are? A good agent wants to know what your goals are. Is it to sell quickly, or is it to get the most amount of money in the sale? Brendan, anything I'm missing?
we're going to talk about the iBuying movement.
You mean the discount brokers?
The iBuyers, the open doors, the ones where you
Oh,
really
yeah,
don't have.
go ahead and go in specific with that.
Okay. So another thing that we were talking about that Brenda mentioned with the discount brokers. Well, there's also another kind out there. I'm sure we've all seen the commercials on TV, the open doors, those type of ones that'll come in, buy your house for you. You don't have to put it on the market. You sell it to them in as is condition, and all those things really seem great, but what they don't tell you is the affordability of it. So what you're talking about is a company who's in the business to make money. So what they're going to do is, yes, they will buy your house from you, but they're going to buy it at an amount that they can go ahead and sell it, turn around and sell it for a profit. So you're although you may be getting the convenience factor of not having to put your house on the market, but the cost to do it is highly, sometimes even double the size of a typical real estate transaction with a typical realtor. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that one.
No, thank you for the reminder on that, because that is popular. Now, a couple of them have already gone out of business, I think, because the business model doesn't work. So, okay, so the next step is to decide on timing. And this is just completely an individual decision. Do you want to live in the home while you're listing it? Or would you rather move, settle into your beautiful new senior living apartment, and then have the agent stage it and sell it? So it's really an individual decision. I'm going to talk more about your staying in your home while it's listed, but do know that it is an option if you do not need those funds to move, to go ahead and move and not have to worry about people coming through your home. So that is, okay. So the first thing that you'd want to do if you decide to stay in your home is just declutter. The folks that are going to be coming through your home want to see your home. Remember that they're buying your home and not your belongings. So the more that you can remove from your home and allow them to see the space, the natural light, and then they can begin to see their personal belongings in there instead of yours. So if you're going to be downsizing, and this is something that Lori can assist with as well, if you're downsizing, now's the great time to go through all your stuff and start with the easy stuff. Start with stuff that's not working anymore. Start with stuff that has an inch of dust on it because you haven't touched it in 5 years. And then ask yourself, if this item disappeared tomorrow, would I run out and replace it? Or could I live without it? So even if you're going to stay in your home while you list your house, or you're going to move and then list your house, it's time to declutter, because most likely you're going to be downsizing into either probably under 1,000 square foot or close to 1,200 square foot for most of these senior living apartments. And there are exceptions to that. So decide what's important, ask for help. See if your children want to take any of the things. And what I love the most is don't be a storage unit for others. If you've been storing your daughter's college, trophies or high school trophies, you can say to her, I have no more space for this. Do you want this? Or it's going into the garage sale. So that's something to keep in mind. And then as you're downsizing, stop yourself from adding new collections while you're, just be careful on what you purchase and what's important to you. And then most importantly, this can be a stressful time. So just take a deep breath and take one step at a time. All right, let's move on. So once you declutter, you'll start to see some things maybe in your house that need to have some work done. And there's the first impression is so important. So we always recommend, and these are minor repairs. There may be some larger repairs that need to be made, but trim the bushes, add mulch, clean the entrance. What we have found and what studies have shown is that somebody walking into a house knows within 15 to 20 seconds whether they like that house or not. So you have a very, very limited time to capture their interest. I can't tell you how many times I've gone up to a door and its paint is chipping, or it looks like it hasn't been cleaned in 3 years. And immediately I think to myself, if they can't clean their front door, are they changing their air filters? Are they taking care of their house? So it's really important to do these tidy up things. Wash your windows, fresh paint if needed, recaulking, clean the carpets, the grout, make sure your vents are clean. Nobody wants to look up and see a bunch of dirt on a house that they're going to be purchasing. So these things are inexpensive and they go a long way. Brendan, did I miss anything on repairs, minor repairs?
No, those are all great. One of the big ones that I always see and clients point out is windows. Windows need to be cleaned on inside and outside. Let that sunshine through.
Yeah. And another thing, by hiring agents that are experienced, Brendan and I have a network of contractors that we can refer to. And these are folks that we've been working with years, so they will get in there quicker. They'll charge you a good price, and we know that they'll do a good job. So that's another reason why to start talking to realtors before or sooner than later. Okay, so the final checklist is the listing contract is signed with the agent. You know what they're going to charge. They're going to tell you what you're going to get for that amount of money. The second thing, and there's a lot of disclosures that you will need to sign, but the most important document is the seller's disclosure. It is the number one reason that agents and sellers are sued in the state of Texas. And it's not often because somebody meant to be negligent or dishonest, it's that they forgot. So when you're on that, writing that seller's disclosure, I always tell our clients, over disclose, over disclose, over disclose. If you've had a water leak, if you had your roof repaired, so just make sure that you take your time on that document because it will protect you. So now after that, the house is in showing condition, photography is completed. And here's another very, very important thing, especially with seniors. Hide your valuables, your prescription medicine, firearms, anything. And knock on wood, in my 17 years of real estate, I've not had an issue, but I do know that people have been known to schedule showings and they will go through medicine cabinets. So put that in a locked and secured place when you leave. The next is the agent will put the house on MLS. Hopefully, like Brendan and I do, we always share it with our client to make sure you like how we're marketing your home, because this is your home and you know a lot more about it than we do. So we always ask you to read over it, and is there anything else that we can improve on? Now it's go time. And that's when the showings begin. A few safety things I forgot to put in here. When your house is on the market, and an agent should tell you this, if somebody walks up to your door and wants to see your house, under no circumstances do you let them in. You say, welcome to call that agent's name and number on the sign, but I'm sorry, I can't speak to you about the house. That's very, very, very important. Remember, when you're showing your house, to be flexible and accommodating. You might get so annoyed that somebody calls you. They say, oh, my clients just drove by your house. They're only in town for an hour or a day, and they'd like to see your house next hour. Well, that can be frustrating, but you never know if that's a corporate relocation who has to find a house that weekend. And if you say no, they may just move on to the next house. Always tidy up. Turn on the lights, open blinds, make sure there's no food odors, pet odors. I don't like saying light a candle for several reasons, because one, safety if the agent's not there right away, but two, you don't want to act like you're hiding something. So you can either spray something, but just make it non-obvious. Then next is show me the offers. And the reason why you're going through all this is you want to see those offers. And one thing that Brenda and I always tell our clients is that sales price is not the only important factor. Somebody might offer you $2,000 above list price, but they don't have a down payment, or they're not willing to put a very high option fee down, or their closing date is 3 months down the road. So discuss with your agent all the benefits of all of the contract terms. Don't just focus on price. And make sure you get that, I didn't put this in there, but make sure you get a pre-qualification letter. And then do not commit to moving until you are confident that the sale is going to go through. This is different than you going out and buying another house, but it is really important not to start making major plans until you get through the inspection period, the appraisal period, before you make that decision. Brendan, did I miss anything?
No, that was great.
Okay, we can be here for questions, but in the end, Brendan and I would love, there's a lot of real estate agents out there and there's a lot of great real estate agents out there, but we would love to be, we would be honored to be your trusted real estate source. There's my phone number, and I believe Zoe will be sending this out, and I'm not sure if our information will be on that as well. And that's all I have.
Fantastic. Look, so I'm going to tell everybody my horror story from when I moved several years ago. Brendan knows this because I told him this story when he and I first met. Man, I'm telling you, it is so important when they said about meeting with people, being comfortable with them, and not just taking the first person that someone tells you about, or just because they're offering a lower commission percentage rate. We had an experience 5 or 6 years ago where we were building a house, and the builder had a great incentive. Oh, if you use this realtor, you don't pay this percentage here, and they'll sell your house for no commission. So all you have to do is pay the 3% from the other realtor. It'll be great, right? And initially everything was great. Like everything seemed okay. I mean, the guy came out, he met with us, and he had a good sales pitch for us. I was like, okay. But as we really got into it, the support just was not there when it came to selling our home. And our home sat on the market for quite a while. We ended up losing the house we were building because they did not sell our current home in time. And we kept saying, what do we need to do? Why are we not getting any bids? What's going on? Do we need, and we had done so much, but anyway, and he was like, oh no, don't worry. It was he wasn't willing to address the questions that we had. Switched realtors, long story short, to someone I had met through a chamber meeting, and he sold my house in 3 weeks, and answered my questions. And he said, it's because you have tile floor all over the first floor. You need to put wood in. I was like, okay, we've been willing to do that. Floor wasn't even finished. It was in the process of being put in, and had a bid on the house. Then we got into a whole new situation because then we had to find a new house at the last minute because we lost the old one. Anyway, but the point of my story is make sure that you really are taking the time to talk and understand what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. So there you go. I don't have any questions. I don't have any questions that popped up during my terrible story. I'm surprised. What is up with that? Honestly, you guys did a really great and thorough job as far as what your next steps are and what needs to be done. So if everyone here we go. So we have someone that asked what areas you serve.
Well, actually, I would say predominantly Collin County and North Dallas, but we also have sold quite a bit in Grayson County and also in Denton County. And so, am I missing anything, Brendan? Those are predominantly.
Pretty much it, yes. Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. Well, fantastic. Okay, well, that should answer that question. I am going to bring Lori in here with us as our spotlight. I love that I can do this now. This is exciting to me. We're all here. If everyone wants to unmute yourselves, let's give a big round of applause. What a great presentation with great information for today.